So, the application here that I want you all to take away before any AI conversation, I want you to ask yourself, if I were afraid for my job right now, how would I hear what I'm about to say? A few months ago, a team lead, we'll just call him Marcus, called me in a panic. He had just come out of one of his department meetings where he announced his company's new AI initiative. He thought he nailed it, hit all the talking points, explained the tools, shared the timeline, but within 24 hours, everything fell apart. Hey everyone, welcome to the Leaders Leading Leaders podcast. I am your host, John Espinosa. This is where I share my over 2 decades of experience building teams and mostly my mistakes, so you won't make the same ones. You know, Marcus, when he called, this is what he told me. He said, 2 people asked for urgent meetings with HR as soon as his meeting was over. His most reliable performer started quietly interviewing, and the group chat, it was on fire with speculation. And one person, someone Marcus had mentored since they were an intern with his company, they walked into his office and they said, "I trusted you. Why didn't you warn us?" And you know, it was hard taking that call because Marcus was devastated. He called me and he said, "John, I don't understand." He said, I told them everything. I was completely transparent. Where did I go wrong?" And when he walked me through exactly what he said in the meeting, word for word, I found out immediately. One sentence. That's all it took. One sentence that seemed harmless, even positive from his perspective, but to his team, it confirmed their worst fears. And here's the thing. Marcus, he's not a bad leader. He's a good leader. He just put the wrong words together at the wrong time, and it cost him the trust that it took him years to build. So the conversation you're avoiding is the one that your team needs the most. But how you have that conversation, that's everything. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how to talk to your team about AI or any other change initiative that you're going through right now. I'm going to talk about the words to use and the words to avoid and how to address that fear without fueling it. And yes, I'll tell you exactly what Marcus said that blew everything up. So let's get into it. Here's what we're going to cover today. 3 critical pieces that will give you the confidence and the language to lead these conversations. The first one we're going to talk about is why our words matter more than you think. The psychology behind this anxiety of AI or any other change and how language either calms or inflames it. The second one, the phrases that backfire, what not to say, and what your team actually hears when you say it. And then the third, I'm always going to leave you with some type of framework. So today we're going to talk about the conversation framework. I'm going to spell out exactly how to structure any conversation for trust, clarity, and buy-in. So stick with this till the end. So why do words matter more than we think? Our teams, your team, is listening through a filter of fear. When people are anxious, they don't hear what you say. They hear what they're afraid of. And every word gets filtered through this, what does this mean for me? What's in it for me? What does it mean for my job, right? Neutral statements, they even become threatening. Positive statements, more suspicious. But you're not just communicating information whenever you go and you're out there, trying to really be positive, just like Marcus. You're communicating safety or danger. So when we begin to communicate any type of change, there's a negativity bias and it's working against you. Humans, they're wired to detect threats. We give more weight to negative information. Just one poorly chosen phrase can undo 10 reassuring statements. So in times of certainty, people will remember what scared them, not what comforted them. And our ambiguity, that's interpreted as bad news. So when we leave gaps in the story, people are going to fill them in with worst case scenarios. That vague language doesn't feel diplomatic to them. It feels like you're hiding something. And the less specific you are, guess what? The more anxious that they will become. So your confidence, it can backfire in these situations. The enthusiasm about AI in this example can read as dismissiveness, especially when we're talking about their concerns. This is going to be great. Sounds like, you're not taking their fears seriously. They need empathy before excitement. The research behind this, psychological research, shows that during periods of uncertainty, everybody does this, people are 3 times more likely to interpret those maybe vague statements negatively. And studies on organizational change, they show employees remember threatening information 4 times longer than that reassuring information that you're giving them. So from here, I was coaching this warehouse supervisor, and they were rolling out an AI inventory management system. He was a really good guy, well-liked by his team, genuinely excited about this tool and how it would eliminate the manual counts that everybody hated within his team. In the team huddle, he went in and he said, this AI is incredibly accurate. In the pilot that we just ran, it caught errors that we missed for months. He meant it as a win. He meant it as, hey, everybody, look how helpful that this tool is. But what his team heard was something completely different. They heard that this machine already found your mistakes. You've been screwing up, and now I have proof. So 2 of his guys came to him after the meeting, and they were pretty frustrated. One of them said, what, we're not good enough anymore? And this blindsided David. He'd accidentally really made his team feel incompetent while trying to sell them on this helpful tool. And it wasn't because he meant to, but because of the words that he used. And they were filtered through fear, they landed as criticism. So, the application here that I want you all to take away, before any AI conversation, I want you to ask yourself, if I were afraid for my job right now, how would I hear what I'm about to say? And then read your talking points through that lens of fear, not logic. That's how your team is going to receive them. Everybody who's listening, I need you to do me a huge favor. Click on that subscribe button. For me, it would mean the world. That grows this channel. It allows us to get the information out to as many people as we possibly can. I appreciate you listening. I am dedicated to giving you content. That is my promise to you. Valuable content, practical content that you can take away. So let's get back. If words matter this much, what are the specific phrases that backfire? So let me show you exactly what to avoid. And finally, I'm going to tell you what Marcus said that caused all of that damage. So here's what not to say. And we're going to go through each one of these phrases. In each one of these phrases, when you first hear them, I'll tell you, I was writing down, what are the things that I have said in the past? Remember my mistakes, so that way you won't make them. I've made all of these, all 7 of these. I have more here, but for sake of time, I'm only going to go over 7. So again, this is for any change management. I'm using AI as an example because many of you have voiced that they're rolling out some type of AI strategy or new technology strategy or low-code, no-code software, whatever that may be. So, replace AI in these examples, in these phrases, with whatever change that you are implementing or trying to communicate to your team. So this first phrase, AI will handle the repetitive tasks, so you can focus on that high-value work. When I said this, I meant that this is going to free you up for more interesting work. But what happened and what I got feedback on was the lower value parts of their jobs are being eliminated. And this created fear again. Remember that lens of fear that they were next. So instead, here's something that I would just flip it just a little bit. This tool will take over whatever specific tasks that you're looking for AI or a process implementation or improvement to take. This is going to mean you're going to have more time for, this is where you have to know your employees, the specific activities that they value. And then let them know your role isn't shrinking. We're going to evolve it. A little bit better, huh? Phrase 2. We need to stay competitive. Have you ever said that? So what you mean is this is the smart business decision. But what your team hears is the company is threatened. And changes, they're coming whether you like it or not. So I would encourage you, instead, say something like this. We're in a strong position, and this technology is going to help us build on that. So here's how it's going to support the work that you're already doing well. You see how it flips that just a little bit to where you make sure that when we communicate something, we're communicating in a way that we're focusing on the employee and we're filtering it through that lens of fear. Phrase 3, those who adapt will thrive. I've said this a couple different times. You have to adapt and they will thrive, right? What we mean when we say something like this is embrace the change and you're going to be fine. But most of the time, what our teams hear is those who don't adapt will be eliminated. And guess what? This is your warning. So instead, we're going to flip it. We're going to say something like, we're going to learn this together. I'm committed to making sure that everyone has the support they need to feel confident. So you have stake in the game. You're going to walk together down this change. Phrase 4. Now this one here, I wrote it down. This is the one, this will make us more efficient. And a lot of times this comes out of really just lack of other things to say, I've heard, because we'll get more done with less friction. That's exactly what I would mean if I were to say something like this. But what the team actually hears, we'll get more done with fewer people. That's the truth. I'm telling you, I've gotten feedback on all of these phrases, and it's about downsizing, and especially in this really climate, in our economy, we're going to do less with fewer people. You are seeing organizations that are downsizing every single day. So this fear is real for them. So instead, say something like this. This will help us, and then be specific about the outcome. Without burning people out, it's about working smarter, not cutting the team. So be very blunt about the fact that you're not cutting the team. This is something that is going to either reach our sales goal, allow us to grow the company, whatever that looks like. And then the burnout there. That's one piece that as this fear continues, as the anxiety rises, burnout is right there with them. So phrase 5, this one here, the AI is really impressive. It can do X or it can do Y, whatever that looks like. And what we really mean is, look at all these amazing capabilities. But what people hear, look at everything this machine can do that you currently do. So I would encourage you instead, say something like this. This tool is helpful for, again, be specific here, whatever task that the tool is going to be helpful for. But it can't do what you do. Here's how it supports your expertise rather than replacing it. There are inherent things that AI can't do. AI right now can only do what we teach it to do. Now, there are engines out there that do learn, but for the most part, the things that are being implemented in our businesses, humans still have to teach it to do things. So there are inherently human things that will stay within our businesses, and it's important to communicate that to your teams. Phrase 6, I can't make any promises about the future. What does that sound like? What we meant was, I'm being honest, I don't have all the answers, right? That's a vulnerable statement. But what people hear is your job isn't safe, and I won't tell you directly. So instead, let's just flip it around a little bit. Here's what I know for certain. And then make those specific commitments. And then here's what we're still trying to figure out. And then again, be specific about those unknowns. And I'm going to keep you updated as decisions are made. Now, that's pretty powerful. And if I were sitting on the other side of that conversation, I would probably say, okay, John, I get it. You don't know everything. Here's what you do know. Here's what you don't know. But I trust that you're going to keep me up to date. So phrase 7, the last one here. This is just the beginning. Doesn't that sound exciting, right? There's more exciting innovation to come. But what people hear is the disruption, it's coming. It's only going to get worse. So rephrase it. This is our first step. Before we go any further, we're going to assess how it's working, and we're going to gather your input on what will come next. Now, these phrases, just the beginning. So what not to say, and then I've given you all examples of what to say in its place. So let's talk about what Marcus said, because one of the things, Marcus, he was a great leader. The team lead, he had a great team. He just said the wrong thing. One sentence, buried in the middle of his meeting. With all these new AI capabilities, we'll be able to do more with less. That's it. Do more with less. Now, to Marcus, it meant efficiency. We talked a little bit about that. Working smarter, not harder, right? Reducing the tedious stuff that nobody liked to do anyways. But to his team of 12, it meant one thing. Some of us are getting cut. Do more with less is the corporate code that we use for fewer people. Everybody knows it. And the moment the words left his mouth, nobody heard anything else. Every reassurance after that sounded just like a spin, sounded just like smoke. One sentence, that's all it took. Marcus didn't mean it that way. But meaning, it doesn't matter. Impact matters. And his impact, it was panic. So the good news is, once Marcus understood what went wrong, he went back to his team and he owned it. He said, I used the wrong words. Let me please try again. Can I have another chance? And that honestly actually rebuilt more trust than his original meeting ever could have. But it was a hard lesson. So here, the practical application. Take out your notes app right now. On your phone, take it out. Write down the phrases that you've been using in conversations, and then run them through this filter. How might they land on somebody who's scared? And what could you say instead? Fair? Okay. So now that you know what not to say, let's build out exactly what you should say. I'm going to give you a complete framework here for any kind of change conversation that you're going to have. So, how to structure the conversation. The CALM framework. The CALM framework comes about with work that I did. It was a company. They were going through a realignment. They were merging two companies, and there was a lot of fear. There was a lot of speculation that they were going to get cut. And I used this framework just really to The executive, he was very passionate. He had studied change management. He understood change management. And one of the things that, I encouraged was, okay, let's write down what your past experience with change looks like. And we were able to organize it in basically these four things. So the first one, the connection. Connect with their reality. C. The A in the CALM framework is articulate the why and the what. The L, locate them in the change. Where are they at? Show specifically where they fit and why they matter. And then M, map out that path. So give clear next steps, support, and make sure that the dialogue is ongoing. So let's talk about the C. So connect with their reality. What to do here? I want you to open by naming what they're probably feeling. Just let's get it out there. All right. Validate that fear is normal response to change, any change. And then I want you to establish that you see them as humans, not just workers. So here's an example of something that I may say. Before I share anything with what's coming, I want to acknowledge something first. There's a lot of noise out there about AI, headlines about job losses, maybe uncertainty about the future. If you felt any anxiety about what this means for you, I completely understand. I would feel the same way. And I want you to know I see that. And I'm going to make sure to address, not just brush past it. Sounds pretty cool, huh? The reason why this works is we immediately disarm their defensiveness. We build that psychological safety that all humans need, and it signals that we are leading with empathy, not hype. So this right here alone, the C in CALM, very, very important. Just a quick pause in our episode. This might be exactly what you need to hear. If you're currently leading a team, or you want to lead a team, and you're spending your days putting out fires, you're not failing, you're just stuck. Because when everything feels urgent, nothing actually improves. And over time, that starts to chip away at our confidence as a leader. I've led teams under pressure for years, and firefighting isn't about effort, it's about those missing leadership systems. When expectations are clear and ownership is real, our teams, they stop reacting and they start solving problems without us. So if you're ready to lead instead of react, click on the link below, book a call, check out our consulting programs. All right, back to the episode. Let's talk about the A. Articulate the why and the what. What to do here, I want you to explain the honest reason for adopting whatever you're adopting. In this case, it's AI. Don't spin it. Be specific about what the tool does and what it doesn't do. And then avoid any vague corporate language. This isn't the time to put in the fluff. This isn't the time to connect it to the vision. Don't do any of that. So something like, here's why we're doing this. And then state that specific opportunity or problem. This tool is going to help us, whatever capability that it's going to achieve, which means that we're going to realize X benefit. And then what it won't do, though, it won't limit anybody. It won't replace anybody. It's about, again, link it back to the objective. So for me, this works because it answers the why this is happening, and it does it directly. Don't beat around the bush here. Specifically, it will reduce the anxiety, and we're going to name the limitations. That's going to help us build credibility. So this is very, very important. Spend some time, really articulate that why and the what. I would write it down, and then I'd go back and look at it through the lens of the fear. L, locate them in the change. So for here, tell them exactly what this means for their role. Emphasize what is going to stay the same and then highlight why humans are replaceable in this equation. So here it may sound like something, now let me tell you what this means for you specifically. Describe any impact on their role. What's not changing is our core values, our responsibilities, our relationships. And here's why you matter more now, not less. That is going to answer, what does this mean for me? What's in it for me? It reduces their personalized anxiety, and it will reinforce the value that we have for them. The M, last but not least, we're going to map that path forward. So what I want you to do here, lay out that clear timeline. What are the milestones? What are the dates? Be as specific as possible. Explain what support that they're going to receive, and then create any channels for ongoing questions and feedback. So something similar to, hey, here's what happens next. And then give them that timeline. Here's the support that you're going to have, whether it's training, resources, maybe some time to learn. And this isn't a one-time conversation. Here's how you can ask questions, share the concerns that you're going to have, or give me feedback as we go. Then whatever channels they're going to be, is it going to be instant messaging? Is there going to be a inbox that you're going to monitor? And then allow them also a little bit of reflection time and just pause. And then end with something like, my door is open. I mean that. And it may be your virtual door. It may be through Slack. It may be through whatever instant messaging system that you're using. This works because it allows them to see what's next. It reduces any type of vagueness, ambiguity, right? And it signals that you are going to have an ongoing challenge. This isn't going to be a one-way announcement. So when we anticipate and address those unspoken questions, before the conversation, I want you to prepare answers. Now, these are some of the questions. Again, when I was journaling today, I wrote these down because a lot of times you're going to hear these. Are there going to be cuts? Are there going to be layoffs? Is there going to be downsizing? Make sure you have an answer for that. Why should I trust that this won't lead to anything later? Cuts, downsizing. Make sure you have an answer for that. What if I can't learn this new technology? Make sure you have an answer for that. And the last one, how do I know my role won't be phased out gradually? Those things are questions that they are going to ask no matter what the change is. And for here, you have to have honest, specific answers ready. Don't deflect here. Here's some research from Harvard Negotiation Project. It shows that acknowledgement of concerns before presenting solution, it increases receptivity by 47%. And employees who feel located in a change, who understand their specific place in it, it shows a 3 times higher engagement with other new initiatives. So here's your assignment. Write out your calm script before your next conversation. Practice it out loud. Ask a trusted peer to listen and tell you, does this feel human? Does it answer my fears? Would I trust this person? And then refine it until it answers all 3. So let's bring our conversation home today. We've covered a lot. First, we talked about why words matter more than we think. Your team is listening through a filter of fear. And what you intend to say, it's not always what they hear. Speak through the lens of their anxiety, not your excitement. Second, we talked about some phrases that backfire every single time. Do more with less. Those who adapt will thrive, right? I can't make any promises. These land as threats, not reassurance. So know what to avoid and what to say instead. And then third, we talked about that calm framework. Connecting with their reality, articulating the why and the what. Locate them in the change. Map that path forward. This gives you a complete structure for the conversation that's going to build trust instead of panic. So here's what I want you to remember. The conversation you're avoiding is the one that they need the most, but how you have that conversation determines whether you build trust or you destroy it. Your teams, they're not fragile. They can handle the hard truth. What they can't handle, though, is being left to guess, or worse, being accidentally told that their fears are valid through careless words. So choose your words carefully, lead with empathy, and have the conversation before they have it without you. If this episode gave you clarity, here's what I want you to do. One, I want you to share it with other leaders in your organization. Anyone leading through a change or AI conversation needs this framework, so send them the episode. Two, subscribe. Click on that button, click on the bell. It'll let you know the next episode. We're shifting gears. We're going to talk about turning AI into an assistant, not a threat, and how to position the technology so that way your team sees it as a tool, not a replacement, and you don't want to miss it. And then three, drop a comment below. What's one phrase that you've heard leaders during AI announcements or other change initiatives really land badly, or what's a phrase that actually worked? Let's learn from each other. Until next time, I believe in you. Go be great. Talk to you on the next episode.